masters don't have to fast their bodies. They fast their minds. On higher levels, you fast the mind. The heaviest element is the earthy element, followed by water, followed by fire, followed by air. So this way, the fast should involve eliminating a lot of the earthy element. You are not only fasting from the solid food, you are fasting from water, you are fasting from fire. Oil is the most difficult for your system to digest among all the food you are eating, the food items. So oil is an item. So a fast within the period of your fasting, not even a little bit like this of oil should enter your system. See, when you are burdened, then the laws of this world affect you. When you reduce the burden on you and your spirit comes forward, things of this world don't affect you.
Welcome to another exciting edition of JCF, and on this channel we help you reach enlightenment as fast as possible. And so please subscribe to our channel and watch us live this and every Wednesday evening. We have tons of great things for you. My name is Kweku Kumi. Today we are discussing fasting. We will look at what fasting is, how important it is to us, how to fast, and most importantly, how it can benefit you. Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, beloved brother.
Thank you for always having time to help us with our questions and answers.
Okay.
Today we are having a discussion on fasting.
Okay.
And I know fasting to be abstinence from food, sensory pleasures, and earthly things, and for religious and other beliefs. I don't know if this makes sense. What is really fasting?
Yeah. Fasting. There is need to understand what brought about the need for fasting.
Okay.
And what fasting is all about, as you have asked. We have spirit, and the spirit projects two energies. Projects, the very first one projected, we call it the internal.
Okay.
And that includes the mind. Then the external, that includes all that we are seeing
Around.
Hearing, smelling, tasting, and feeling. Now, comparing these things to spirit,
The internal and external.
the internal and external. The external becomes actually a heavy burden because it's a slowed down energy. When I say frequency, it's something that has slowed down.
Slowing down from the spirit.
From the spirit.
Okay.
So if the spirit interacts with the slowed down energies, then the external is seen as really a heavy burden. Let's take this example. Let's say spirit is vapor, and vapor is always expanded, But when it slows down, in its frequency, we get water. When the water slows down further, we get ice block. Now, if you are to bring the vapor is the spirit, you bring it straight into contact with ice block, then it's like actually this is seen as a heavy burden, because it has to raise the frequency of the ice block, then it changes to water, and the water too has to be energized for it to reach vapor again. So our spirit, we are spirits actually, and we are here in contact with the internal and the external energies. The earth, the external is really heavy, and therefore I call it heavy burden. The internal is light burden.
Let me see if I can get you right. You said we are spirit.
Yeah.
And we are here, spirits releasing two things, the internal and the external.
Yeah.
And you compared it to vapor, water, and ice block.
Yeah.
So let's say we are spirits compared to the vapor, slowing things down to the water, and coming down to the ice block, right, which is the physical.
Yeah.
Okay, I now understand. So
you understand. Good. So we want the ice block stage to finally change and become vapor again.
Okay.
Because it started from vapor and descended all the way to become ice block. Now, if you are functioning, you are vapor, you are spirit, and you come to the zone of water and ice block, then you will find ice block as really a burden, because trying to energize it so that it gets back to spirit frequency. The water can be easily changed
by
back
boiling.
Back to vapor. But the ice block first has to be changed to water before it can also be changed back to vapor.
Okay.
Now, spiritual development, as people call it, spirit doesn't actually develop because it's eternally what it is. But when we talk of development, what it means is that the presence of the internal and the external, how we are able to affect it, our spirit, we are spirit, how we are able to affect it. It becomes obstacle when we are trying to really transform it or affect it. And sometimes we feel like it is affecting us. When you have vapor and you have ice block, you bring them together. What happens is, as the ice block is melting, the vapor is also reducing in its heat. So it will even change the vapor into water. The ice block will change the vapor into water. You see? So our spirits, in contact with the external and the internal, we feel some effect on us, in a sense. It's like it's trying to weaken you. There is a saying in the local language, sunsumpe. That means the spirit wants to express itself, but the worldly things, the body, the mind, they are troublesome. They give tough time, you see, to the spirit. So in that process, anytime you are fasting, what you are doing is very simple. It means that the burden, the heavy burden of the external, that is the physical, you are actually reducing it.
Okay.
we increase it through the eating process, because the earthy elements, we take it and put inside. So we always building the external more and more. But if you want your spirit to feel less of the burden, then it means you hold off from where these things are being added, so that you reduce the burden. And as you reduce the burden, that you will reach a point where your spirit now really is like becoming freer and freer. And that is where certain things happen. It's not happening because somebody out there is calculating that you are fasting and that you should get this, you should get that. But as you are fasting, your very spirit, that is your real self, the God in you, is allowed to actually be off from this equipment a bit.
Okay.
And as you are pulling away from the equipment, then there is a kind of freeness of the spirit to express itself. And for that matter, the power within the spirit can be expressed within the person. And the knowledge within the person can be expressed. The love, the peace, all these things are attributes of the spirit, and they can now be expressed. The joy. So if you are fasting, the fasting has to be on the 2 levels.
2 levels.
Yes, because the equipment is having external and internal.
Okay.
So you have to fast on both
The internal
and external.
Wow, this is a mystery.
Yes.
You are watching us live here on Jan Cosmic Foundation. Please subscribe to our channel, and if you have any comment down below and let us know. Dr. Jan is saying you have to fast on 2 levels. I know we have so many types of fasting people talk about, but he just mentioned 2 levels, external and internal.
Yes.
Right, we'll go to the internal, but let's first come to the external. That is what maybe we usually know, getting rid of food and so on.
Yeah.
How do we fast the external?
Yes, the external, we have as many as 7 different types of fasting.
Okay.
Always 7, the number 7 is playing roles in
Last time you explained, someone asked a question and you explained.
Yes, yes, yes. So the whole system, we have 7 types.
Okay.
Some are popular, but some too people don't know about. Say, people know about dry fasting. They know about white fasting. Then there are others they don't know about. Control fasting, water fasting, fruit fasting, then lunar fasting.
Wow.
Yes.
They are all part of the
They are all part of it. Then we have lion fasting. See? So they are 7 in number. And if we take even one, we can dive into it. But
we wouldn't have time.
We don't have the time.
You can just say something about them.
Yes. So these different types of fasting, each of them achieves a particular purpose.
Okay.
We have the fasting that clears the toxic in your body. Now, when the toxic is being cleared, then the burden that the body is presenting to the spirit is reduced. In other words, it's just like you have an equipment and it's rusty, and you clear the rust from the equipment. Then it becomes a sharp equipment or ready equipment for you to use, much more ready.
Okay.
If you have a machete, a cutlass, and you're going to clear weeds with it, definitely if it has been rusting, it will be blunt. It can't function well. So our bodies are equipments, and we need to actually do the type of fasting, especially if there's so much rust. The rust is what I call the toxic. Okay. So much toxicity in the body, and we need to detoxify. The fasting, one of the types of fasting, some of them will clear the toxic. Yes. And when it does like that, the burden on your spirit is reduced. Okay. You see. So that is
the external.
The external.
The external, most of the time we know of food.
Yeah.
Fasting out of not consuming food. Mm. And I don't know whether there are other things as you are just saying.
Yes, yes, yes. There are other things.
Aside food, what are some of the things that we fast? Can you give us examples relating to the external?
Yeah, relating to the external, if you stay away from food, the external includes, we talk of earth, water, fire, air. These are the gross external side.
Okay.
So when you are fasting from food, then there must be an aspect inside it for water as well. Then for the fire, and one may ask how. Then the air, see. So when all these things are taken through the fast, then it takes care of the external fasting before even we talk of internal. So during the time of fasting, the food, then water, you stay away from water, you stay away from solid food, and you do away with fire, because when we talk of fire, the heat, there is the heat of digestion within. So you actually slow down the heat of digestion. If you don't slow it down, then you can even develop ulcer during the fast. But there is technique for all these things. So people will do long fasts, but sometimes they get ulcer in the long run. It's because they don't know the secret, that you are not only fasting from the solid food, you are fasting from water, you are fasting from fire. Fire is the one, if it is on high and you are fasting, then you can develop, because it functions together with acid. So the acidity will eat in your stomach there, and you have stomach ulcer. See, so a person who knows how to really fast doesn't develop any complications, no ulcer, no anything, but he gets all the benefits.
I'm still on the external, because we are more focused on the external aspect, and even with the external only food. I don't know if you are aware of some of these things. We think of fasting just not taking only the hard food. That is what we think. And they say we have preparations for fasting. When you are fasting, there are certain kinds of food you shouldn't eat. During the fasting, there are also certain things you shouldn't do. Then after the fast, how to break your fast. Most of us, we combine all our foods, then we feast after the fast. And so if you could also take us through that pattern before, then during, then after the fast.
The truth is this: the heaviness of the elements, the heaviest element is the earthy element, followed by water, followed by fire, followed by air. So this way, the fast should involve eliminating a lot of the earthy element.
Okay.
Now, when we come to the earthy element in food, the heaviest within that is the oil. You see, why? Because the oil is the most difficult for your system to digest among all the food you are eating, the food items. So oil is an item. So a fast, within the period of your fasting, not even a little bit like this of oil should enter your system. It's very gross, very heavy. Yes. Then the other things that one should avoid is things which really your system as an individual, it doesn't go with you. I've explained this in another video before. As an individual, there are certain things when you eat, because we have 3 states and you are in one of them. So some things you eat and your body doesn't function very well with it. That one you should notice it by experience, and you avoid them during the period. For example, if you take bread and it gives you constipation, then during the fast you don't take bread. You are avoiding things that burden the equipment. So you as an individual, you may do away with certain things, but another individual, it is okay for him or her. So generalizing everything as a law or principle is not all the time the best. We work on individual
differences.
Individual differences. And I know somebody, sometimes he takes even certain fruits and he gets constipation. See, whilst another takes those fruits and the system is running. See, so the experience should be the guide.
Okay.
You see, in this particular matter. Yeah.
I don't know whether it's also for the breaking of the fast, because you said we should eliminate oil.
Yeah.
And most of the time, most of us break our fast with porridge and kose or kuku, and sometimes tea and bread. We see these to be very light, but all these food I see oil inside. But you are saying during these periods we should get rid of oil. So
the
breaking
best
of the fast.
Breaking the fast, the best things to break the fast are only natural things.
Okay.
So fruits. Okay. And if it should be vegetables, it should be the kind that you can even take raw. Okay. See, because the human has become used to cooking, what can be allowed is steaming. So you steam some vegetables, not really boil, and then you can use, because we have become used to cooking our food. Whatever you train yourself with, your system takes it up. So naturally we are to break fast with natural things.
Okay.
Yeah, so fruits and vegetables.
Okay, and at what time do you have to break our fast? Is it in the morning, afternoon, or evening? Some people have different times, but I was thinking, as the name implies, breakfast.
You see, I've mentioned 7 types of fasting.
Okay.
So each type has the way to break it.
Okay, okay. So it's not just a general concept.
No.
Okay, all right. So you are watching Jan Cosmic Foundation live here inside our studios. We are discussing fasting. If you have any question or comments, please let know down below. And Doctor, you are talking about also fasting the internal, not only the external. Actually, this is my first time of hearing this, and it's a mystery. Can you also please go into that a little for us?
Yes. Fasting, if you fast only the physical, the only benefit will be the toxic clearing and all those kind of things. But if you really want to target as self-development, then you see, if you clear negatives, it doesn't mean you have developed.
Okay.
You see, so the physical, the external will clear the negatives. But the positive, you can only get it through the internal fasting. So when you are doing a fast, there must be the internal side also.
Okay, so both internal and external.
And external.
Okay.
But people don't know this. I will give you an example. If somebody is in a situation like there is flood, or there is a disaster, natural disaster, or there is war, a breakout of war, and people are running away. They become refugees.
Yeah.
And they will move long distances, and they will not be even eating. And sometimes they will see a whole lot of things, atrocities, gunshots, killings of their relations, and so on. So the internal side of them is burdened with anxieties and fear and anger. They are angry with some of these people killing their own people and so on, and they are moving with grief in them. So the internal side is burdened, and that's the external side. That person is not eating. And for that matter, if he doesn't eat for 2 weeks, you can't label it as fasting.
Okay.
Because the internal side is burdened. So in a sense, it is like clearing the external side by burdening the internal side. So when it is like that, you are not actually fasting. I will explain something there.
But let me come in. Let's say I'm fasting, I'm not eating.
Yeah.
And I have a challenge with my wife. I'm having some confusion. I'm thinking I'm in anxiety and so on for 1 week. Am I not fasting?
No. That is not fasting. All the fasting, people are in anxiety. They are not actually helping themselves. The external fasting, the fasting you are doing is only external, and it's only taking your toxic out of your body. But you are not using only body. You are also using an internal side, the mind,
okay,
and the emotions and so on. So you have to make sure the fasting includes the internal side as well. And there are many things about fasting. You see, the internal side, let me tell you this. What you take through your mouth is the food and the water. So you are fasting from it. You are not going to give your mouth these things. But into the equipment, the internal side, you absorb things through your eyes, and it goes into the internal side. It is recorded. You take things through your ears, and they are also going in. All the other channel senses, places we are taking things through them. Now, they are also going inside the equipment, but the other side of the equipment unseen. You see, the side which is seen is the physical. So you don't take the food, you don't take the water, the physical is benefiting, cleansing it. Then the burden remains in the internal side. People are not aware they burden the internal side, and it is part of the equipment that they are using here. So, during a real fast, that will give you progress. If you fast correctly, even just for a day, you get so much benefit. That is external, internal. Now, internal, what it means is that when you are fasting, your eyes should not take things in which agitate your mind. Your ears should not take things in that will agitate your mind. Mind is internal, but the body is external. You shouldn't be in circumstances that you are taking in things in your internal side. That is why I gave the example of the person who is actually at the battlefield and a refugee, and he's fleeing, you see. So about 2 weeks, he hasn't gotten food to eat. So the external side, he's fasting. But the internal side is burdened. The war, he saw people being cut, being shot, and his own people dying and so on. And he's absorbing all this into his internal side. So he is not actually fasting.
Okay.
You see, fasting is to unburden. Unburden the physical side, unburden the external side and the internal side. If you fast correctly, then the external, internal, they are all into the fast. And that is where you get results. Because the burden they have on your spirit reduces. And that is the result we are seeking in a fast. Because the spirit, when it is unburdened, will express its nature. And its nature is that it knows all things. So knowledge will flow forward, and you can tell things coming tomorrow. So you say you have visions, you are seeing this, you are seeing that, you are hearing this, God is speaking to you. It is your spirit. Your spirit is God. It's part of God. God within you. But absorbing it in this equipment, which is a burden in a sense, because it's so heavy. So you go through a fast, you unburden the physical, you unburden the internal energies. And once you do that, the burden on the spirit is lessened, and spirit immediately comes forward. And when it comes forward, it comes with power. It's its nature. It comes forward, it comes with knowledge. So the things that you are thinking of, you have problem this way, that way, it brings the intuition, inner guidance, and everything starts changing. But people think it is someone out there who is doing those things for you. But it's coming from unburdening your spirit. And your spirit brings these things forward. You see, because it's nature. If it gives you some knowledge, some information which you never knew, your spirit knew it all the time. It is only because of this burden upon it, and it's not able to express its nature. So once you unburden yourself, knowledge, power, peace, everything which is the nature of spirit begins to come out. And spirit sees all things happening in a distance. So you start to see things. You start to understand things deeper. Spirit knows what it is doing also in another person. So you can know the mind of another person. So knowing these things doesn't mean someone is out there revealing it to you. It is your spirit which has been unburdened, which is expressing. And you know this. And it gets to a point, power flows through you. It is your spirit. It's part of your spirit's ability. And it's expressed. And you can heal, you can do things. It is your spirit. It is God. God in you. See, it is a lack of understanding. Everything we think is coming from outside us. And that mentality makes it difficult for people to really have self-realization. The goal of life is to realize who you are in truth as a spirit. So fasting is to help you to achieve it, to know who you are. When you unburden yourself, then the knowledge of who you are is coming forward. See? So you feel capable, you feel things are under control now. You see, and you can reach the point where you tell the storm, go down, and it will go down because you're spirit, you're God. Only God is spirit. So you are spirit means you are God. God is part of, you are part of that divine presence. See, it's something we have to take our time to understand. And once you understand, then it brings total change in how you function in this world. See, when you are burdened, then the laws of this world affect you. When you reduce the burden on you and your spirit comes forward, things of this world don't affect you. Okay. You see, the other time I was, because many people listening to me might have passed through the Christian teachings, so sometimes I used to make references to them to understand. See, in Galatians 5:18, it says, one who is led by the Spirit is not under the law. So all these things which are affecting us, the laws of this world and so on, unburden yourself and let the Spirit come forward. And you have, these things are not affecting you anymore. You see? And it is something we don't give it deep understanding, you know. But that is the truth. So fasting, the aim of fasting is to unburden the spirit so that the spirit will be what it is, express who it is.
So the concept of fasting for somebody doesn't come in. You see, people usually fast for others.
Fasting for somebody. You see, when you unburden yourself, I just mentioned that when you unburden yourself, your spirit, which is actually an expression of God, has power. So at that stage, if you reach a point where you are fully unburdened, you can tell the storm, go down, it will go down. So you focus on somebody that you are fasting for the person. What it does, it means is that when you unburden yourself, you are empowered. And then you express your will that that person, I want him to be okay. And then the person starts being okay. Because you are God. So you focus on the person that you are trying to help the person out of some trouble, and you are fasting for the person. The fasting empowers you. And because you are focusing on the person to be okay, you are now at God point. And then your thought and your wishes and your will, they all become empowered. and then the person gets the results.
So it's fasting for everyone. I think maybe some people naturally, I don't think they can fast. The sick and the children. I remember when we were kids, they asked us to fast from 6 to 12. So early in the morning, I'll dodge and I'll go and eat and I'll clean my mouth and I'll come and sit down that I'm fasting. But I believe fasting is not for the general public or
The great,
both the body and mind.
let me tell you something. Masters don't have to fast their bodies.
Okay.
They fast their minds. On higher levels, you fast the mind. When you fast the mind is the part which is having direct contact with the spirit.
Okay.
The body and all those things don't have direct contact. The body is influenced by mind. That is why there is a saying, mind over matter. See, the empowerment comes from spirit, it comes to mind. Then mind sends it into body. So if you fast the mind, then mind is empowered more, because when you fast it, spirit comes forward, and then spirit uses higher mind, not the lower mind. So you fast the lower mind in actual fact, and once you do that, then the higher mind will have control over the body. Even if the body has been a burden, it will now be controlled.
Okay.
You see, it will be controlled. So masters don't. So people who can't fast their bodies, they shouldn't get worried. All they need is the technique to fast the mind.
Okay.
If you fast the mind, you dominate the body.
All right. So if you want techniques to fast the mind, just check the numbers in the description box. Call, and we will show you what to do and what not to do. Dr. Jan, you also talk about moderation in most of your videos. I watch most of your videos. I've been talking about, as you just said, that if you are fasting very well, we don't need so much time to fast. Just a day you can fast the mind and the body. Can you talk a little bit about the moderation, how to balance things
yes.
You don't fast too much?
Yes. Very good question. Say, all the time, something is going on in this drama, this world. Whenever the pendulum, the pendulum you hold and it swings here, it swings there. When it goes very far, you release it, the return, it will go far. When you send it not too far, when you release it, it goes not too far.
Okay.
See. So if you've been burdening the external side, gross food that is very gross, like meat, oils, and so on, heavy, then it's like and on the physical side, you are pulling the physical to extreme. Then that person needs the opposite extreme to balance it.
All right.
Such a person needs to go through so much fasting if he has to balance the things, to unburden the physical body. Now, a person who is, let's say, a vegetarian, not taking very heavy things like meat, unburdening is not so much. So the pendulum is pulling is to the physical side. It's not too far. So when such a person needs a balance in his life, that's what he needs in fasting must be very small. So a meat eater, to balance his life, needs so much fasting. But a vegetarian, a vegan, he's not pulling the physical into so much burden. So if he has to fast, he doesn't require so much fasting.
Okay.
Now, when you live with moderation, what it means is that instead of pulling the physical too far, you pull it only a little. And in this way, you don't need much fasting. So you are coming to the middle because the pulling here hasn't gone so much. So for you to get the balance, it will need so much of the opposite, eating and fasting. But the eating is moderate, so the fasting will be moderate.
Okay.
See, too much eating, too much fasting in order to balance it. You reduce the eating, reduce the fasting. In the long run, we are seeking the middle, where we are not fasting, we are not fasting. We are not fasting, we are not eating. You see, because spirit doesn't fast, spirit doesn't eat. It's balanced, doesn't need the swing here or there. So all about life is just the seeking of balance. Not only even fasting, but all other things, we are seeking a balance point. And if you live moderate in things, then you the one living moderate, you don't need to follow too many rules. Rules, even on the material level, if a person is not really committing so much, he's not in need of being corrected so much. If you have children in the house and one is deviating so much, the one deviating so much needs so much correction. The one who is not deviating so much, little correction. And the one who is not deviating at all, no need for correction. No need. So if we can be moderate, we don't have to pass through so much. Even the need for fasting and all those things don't come in. That's why I have always given the principle of moderation to begin with. In whatever you do, just be moderate. What you do with your body, be moderate. If you are moderate with your body, then the don'ts don't matter much. But when you are not moderate, then you need don't.
Okay. So we should be moderate with our body, we should be moderate with whatever we do in our lives. Yeah. Dr. Jan, this is a very short interview, but we've learned so much. Please summarize everything for us, then we check out.
Yes. You see, even the mind, fasting, when you put your mind on something and you are looking at that thing constantly, with the mind focus on only that thing, to the extent that even somebody is pinching you and you don't even hear, you are fasting the mind. You see, mind, just as the physical body wants to be giving more and more, mind also wants to be moving more and more. So when you deny it movement, then you are fasting it. And there are techniques how to achieve these things. And once you are able to do that very well, the result is fantastic, because your spirit is now freed. So you become free, you become more awake, and you become more aware. because that awareness is inside you, but it's covered. It is your spirit. So you need a freedom from the externals, and even freedom from the internal as well. See? So, beloved brothers and sisters, this is it about fasting. We may, even if we go into details about the 7 types of fasting, still, if one is not able to follow them, just fast your mind, and it's enough. If you learn to fast your mind, it's even higher than all the other types of fasting we can mention, this and that, this and that. Simply fasting your mind is beyond all types of fasting. Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you also for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel. If you have any question, please comment down and let us know. And more importantly, if you want to know the techniques of fasting the mind, please check the numbers below and call. Thank you once again. My name is Kwaku Kumi. See you again.